anything, it's just a way that I do it. Firstly, I'll print it out with crop marks like that so that I know where the spine corners are. And then I'm going to mark that again with a Stanley knife or a knife, a blade, right on the crop marks. I'm going to make a little cut just out here and another cut out here. And then I'm going to come across to this one, get it nice and square, do the same thing. Alright, so then when I turn it over the other way, I've got my corners and I can use my bone folder or something else, like sometimes the back of the blunt side of a knife, or like a blunt like bread knife or something like that. Not bread knife, like butter knife, that's a bit smoother. Because the thing about this is it's sharp, but it's also not abrasive like that. It kind of slides into your paper, and it's not like cutting the paper or tearing the paper. It's more, it's bruising the paper, like it's creating like an indentation. So I'm going to run the folder over that a few times till I get that seam in there. See, like that. And I'll do that again. So that I've worked out the fold before I've actually cut it down, the folds. And I do it with a range of different medium pressure passes rather than trying to really jam it in and make an incision. And I'll do the same technique. You can kind of see there that there is like a little kind of dent, but it's nice and straight. Then I'll cut this down. You could use the guillotine if you wanted to. If you're going to use a knife, do the same thing. Don't try and push all the way through the paper in one go. Give it a bunch of sort of softer passes until you can feel that it's cut through nice and tightly. And I do each of the sides of the opposite side, and I wouldn't cut like all the way through from there to there. I'll keep it so that I can see my crop marks, like I don't lose the crop marks when I do the other edge. And you want to be careful, like touching the surface of the toner, because depending on the paper, this is actually quite robust, but depending on the paper, fingerprints will, you'll see fingerprints or not. So that's my cover, or not mine. So then I'll use.
Do another one while you're at it.
I'll do the rule. Use the ruler to just kink that. I feel like I could have pushed a bit harder when I was scoring that. But just gentle and do everything bit by bit, not in one go. And that's going to be not too bad. And even with the dark colour, I'm not getting too much cracking along there, which is pretty good. A little bit. Can you see that it's cracked and some of the white of the paper is coming through? That can be a bit yucky. But that's pretty much where I want to get for the next stage of gluing, which would be, if we've got one around. Can I just use that? So it's going to be too big. What we're going to do is pretend that we've got. Have you got your? Is it close by?
It can part into two. Oh, that's my purple one, but I haven't cut it
where's the one that you've glued?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. Yes, we're giving you both.
Perfect.
Alright, so we'll pretend that that's been glued well.
Wow. Thank you so much.
And we've got two parts, and we're going to put glue on both of the parts, so there's a nice amount of coverage. So we'll do the same kind of thing that we did previously, but just like sealing pages together. But we'll probably be a little bit more generous than the thinner coats that we were doing. And we also want to very carefully paint glue in the internals of the spine here. And you know, it's a fine line. It needs to be a bit more generous, but too much, it'll leak out the sides and stick the pages together here. So yeah, that's why we're doing the test one. Anyway, so I've got glue there, I've got glue here. I'm going to put my book down and line it up nicely. And I'm going to close the cover. And I'm going to then, and I'm not going to do this now because this is your nice one. I'm going to put my plates back together like this and get ready to clamp it. But I'm going to make sure that when I do that, that I push the book as hard as I can right into the spine so it really squares it up. So once it's pushed nice and tightly, I'll then want to clamp it together and leave it overnight. And like, you shouldn't see any gap there. It should be, if you've done it well and you've got a square edge and you've done a good cover, it should everything should touch there and there should be no gap. All right, and then that would be, you leave it overnight to dry, and then next week when you've got some time, you'll come into the into here and you'll trim just 1/2 mil off each side. All right, and that'll tighten it up and make it look really nice and sharp. And you'll take 1/2 mil off each edge like that, and then you'll cut whatever it needs to be here so that you've got a really nice edge to your book. All right, now through some experimentation, and this was actually Oliver from one of the other groups, Oliver Van Tour. He did a few books and they all look really good. And when I was doing mine, I was getting my finished book and jamming it right up in the corner like I do when I'm cutting paper. But what he was doing was working out what the measurement needs to be, and he was cutting it right in the middle here, so that neither the spine or the edge was jammed up against the edge there. And it worked kind of really nicely each time he made the cut. So it was one side, the other side, and then the front. Yep, so that's it. That's kind of pretty much what I would do. So I think everyone now is preparing to go home to put